people who sacrifice their lives. According to Reddit. Number 14. One day I came home and my fiancé was gone. Detectives finally came and told me that they found his body at the place that he proposed to me. They strung me on that it was a murder for months until they released his goodbye letter. He shot himself in the mouth, through the brain, because I'm not good enough for you. I want you to be an amazing mother, and I want our child's name to have a good father figure. It's been amazing watching you grow into who you are. So here I am, years later, still confused and hurt that he says he killed himself for me and for my daughter. Still not healed, never will be. I know this isn't what you may have wanted, but it's what I got. Hello, Pistachio Boy. Signing up for another dark-ass Kyle list. Hit you with an entry that, isn't exactly the kind of candy-ass shit you'd expect on other lists. Guys, do me a big favor and go follow me over on Twitch. I'm going to be trying to hook up daily streams over there. But I can't make it happen without you. What do you want? You want like a link? I think I could hit you with a link. Hold on to your butts. The real question is going to be whether or not these links work after the stream goes live. Well, would you look at that? Shag the Poker is following me on Twitch. That was super quick, and I appreciate him for that. That's what I'm talking about. Hello to Linda, Ashley, and Kelly in the stream chat. Hope you guys are having a sexy day and are keeping it perky. Nah, I mean. Number 13. My grandfather at the time was 94 years old. My 4-year-old daughter got the flu, which she then gave to me. I was homesick with my daughter and couldn't even... That's what I'm talking about, Kenny. I'll make sure you don't get killed, like in the early seasons of South Park. That's turning into a dated reference. We're all slowly dying, much like the people in this list, but not in so much a sacrificial way. My grandfather at the time was 94 years old. My 4-year-old daughter got the flu and gave it to me. I was homesick with my daughter, and I couldn't even take care of myself, let alone my daughter. My grandfather took care of both of us, and I remember walking up to him Damn it. Sorry. My brain just kept telling me that's walking, and it says waking. I remember waking up to him covering me with a blanket like when I was a child. He ended up getting the flu himself, and his respiratory system couldn't take it. He passed because he took care of me and my daughter, and it makes me cry every time I remember it. Ooh. Could you live with yourself knowing you... Could you live with yourself knowing you killed your grandpa? Do you get what I'm saying? That's pretty breathtaking. Here's the way death works, guys. When death works, you spiral through a lot of stages. Maybe people like to associate the stages that everybody goes through with the stages of grief, which are a pretty typical and funny little outline that most people, of course, will feel emotions that correspond with, anger and denial. But I'd like to think that everybody, in retrospect, thinks back and goes, what could I have done differently? Could I have done this? If I had done this, would they have survived? But when this is so clear-cut, that this dude got the flu and his body couldn't fight it, and it was because of you and his proximity to you, ooh, That's not something you can really pretend wasn't the case. You know, oh, I'm just making it like I could have done something different. You definitely probably shouldn't have been around him. 94 years old? Someone said this one got to me. I'm sure that he knew what the risk of exposure was, especially for an elderly person, and that makes it all the more compassionate. Oh boy. I hope that this list serves as something in the way of an educational, I don't know, anecdote that you guys may in the future be cautious of what you do and don't come in contact with on a daily basis. The fact that because of your age, you're a little bit more malleable, you can snap back, you know, but older people cannot. And some people with conditions that make their immune systems a joke cannot snap back. Number 12. Not the typical altruistic life-saving event, but here we go. I'm an identical triplet. We started out as quadruplets, but the fourth little homie took one for the team as he stopped developing sometime during my mother's pregnancy. This allowed the remaining clones to develop healthy and well, utilizing the nutrients that would have been split by 4 down to 3. We're pouring one out for you, Max. Huh. You could say that he pushed his nutrients to the max. Yeah. You like that one? Not exactly proud of it, but there it is. Not exactly proud of it. Linda says that she considers this list to be familiar. Well, she is the resident Kyle historian. We may have an issue, but we don't know for sure yet if it's something that's definitely been done. Number 11. My mother essentially died for me. I was 3 months old. My mother was giving me a bath in the kitchen sink. My 3-year-old brother was in a high chair having dinner, and my father had just come home from performing a home inspection and was finishing his paperwork downstairs before coming up to dinner. He heard my mother cry out. She yelled his name in a tone that was off, as he put it. He sprung from his chair, ran up the stairs to the kitchen to find my mother holding me in the sink with her head down. He snatched me from her hands. She immediately collapsed onto the floor, unconscious. She died 3 days later in the hospital of cerebral hemorrhage. Oh, this shit really makes me cringe because it can happen to any of us at any time with no sign, and it's scary and it bothers me. But there's nothing we can do about it, so it would be irrational for me to be scared of it, but most phobias are irrational, so why am I getting up my ass about it? Look, man, I pray this kind of stuff doesn't happen to any of you. Her last act was to keep me from drowning in the kitchen sink. My brother witnessed all of it and was scarred for a long time. I never knew my mother, but that is the personification of a mother's love. Ooh. What the hell is Stripes posting? You people in this damn Twitch alert, if you're in the Discord, I'll always throw out a notification for when I'm beginning the stream. You don't have to add toolbars. I pray to God Stripes isn't paying for that guy to have continued that bing bong. Earring. Oh my God. It's nice to see Stripes is awake. Isn't it past her bedtime? What did Gabby say? I dyed my hair and now I look emo? Is that what girls convince themselves when they dye their hair? Ben Miles says, oh my God, your voice is amazing. What have I stumbled upon? You know, there used to be this, let's call it an app when it was closer. I'm Sean Connery. It was closer to that of a extension, you know? And the way that it would work is like you'd click the button and it would just go like show you things that were similar to your or that were relevant to your interests. And I guess it's dead now because I can't even, like, with... Is that what the icon for it looks like? I thought it was green. Yeah, no, that thing must have been killed by the internet. It was a button you could just press and it would find you interests relevant to your, to whatever you had filled out. Like, think of it as like a Spotify or a Pandora, but for like web pages. And that was an interesting little early internet thing. Here we go. To number 10. Some of these entries may be deleted and I definitely cannot retrieve them because they're really playing havoc with the archives. And some of the pages are in fact whiting out regardless of what browser I open them in. That is not an exaggeration. It's very confusing stuff. That aside, number 10 reads, he was a stranger. His death saved me and 3 others. The circumstances surrounding his death will never be completely known as mistakes were made during his medical care. At the time of his death, however, I had already been on artificial heart for 11 months and was probably about 2 weeks from death myself. It had been a 3-year journey for me and my family. Getting listed for transplant and then sitting on that list was grueling. I was simply done. I received his heart on the 1st of November 2014. Although the recovery still goes on, I am alive, I'm enjoying my life, and his name was Tim. And I know his family. Huh. Well, that's an unconventional, sacrifice. I didn't expect that kind of they saved my life or they gave their life for me story, but it is accurate. Does anybody in this chat have a story of someone who gave their life for you in a way? I guess all of our parents indirectly gave their lives for us, whether it was deliberate or intentional. They ended up with us and they could have thrown us away. They could have given us away. They could have pillowcased us out, you know what I mean? But instead they chose to raise us little bastards, and then go crazy for that experience. Turned them all into a bunch of Karens. If you're watching this stream after the fact, I'd like to hear that story if you have it in the comment section. Do not be afraid to just comment anything, boy. Like the video, comment anything that's on your mind at all times. That's that's going on. It's a good thing for this channel. You know who understands that? Hilda and Linda. They leave comments on every video, and I can't express my love for each of them properly. It's just no accurate way to articulate it. You know what I mean? So as we continue up this list, we arrive at number 9. My English may be weird. I am sorry. I didn't know if this counts, and I don't want to go into detail, but my mother took me when I was 8 years old from North Korea with a refugee group to the north border of China and North Korea. We fled to Thailand and then to South Korea. The important thing is that my father, who still lived there, did not want to leave due to fear of capture and fear of the United States, which of course was propaganda, so my mother took it in her own hands. Most likely my family has perished because my mother and I left. Now I want to say this thing sounds familiar, but I do recall reading multiple stories that, this is the case where the crazy thing is, some people, when they try to get out of that situation, they know that the family members that they leave behind, they are gonna get fucking, if not imprisoned and turned to slaves, then just excommunicated, as we say. Icky Gabby says, I have to go to work like this, but I'll get it after work. You older women and getting your hair dyed, man. It's like the most interesting thing going on. But remember, dudes, remember that if you guys weren't the ones talking about your hair, everybody else would probably mention it one time and that'd be the end of it. Pretty fucked up, huh, guys? Pretty fucked up, huh, ladies? I just know Dia walks around all day getting a whole bunch of guys going, can I get that door for you? And I'm like, yeah, bitch. Fucking. Is that your daughter? Shut up. Nobody says that, but it's funny.
Never happened.
Nah. The one time we were in a Wawa and this lady lost her mind, dude. Oh my God. So y'all are like an interracial thing? That is so, okay, wow. Wow. But the lady in Wawa was blowing my mind. I was like, ma'am, you know, I'm already uncomfortable. You coming up to me talking about anything, unless it's about like a dumb shirt I have on or my wallet or something stupid like that. Kelly, the big boob up off. I'm sorry. That's got to be how that's pronounced, right? Up off. You better rise up off me. Okay, Kelly says, Kyle, can you do a Reddit list or something of serial killers and crime documentaries that are popular and ones that aren't well known one day? I'm new to the channel and you really help my anxiety. Kelly, I do recommend that you browse this channel. I think the fun thing is that there's probably so much content on this channel that you could probably type my name in and any term that you're looking for. What? Stripe said what? Stripe says, I saw Kyle at a... Don't play with me. That's not funny. She showed me this creepypasta yesterday that had me... This copy pasta. She showed me the dumbest copy pasta I've ever seen. And here's the thing. I have a proper enjoyment for things that I regard as... What's the word? Silly? You know what I mean? Is that the term that I use? Silly?
I guess so.
So she showed me this copy pasta about like... I'll just read it for y'all in case y'all haven't seen it. It's kind of silly.
Do you have it?
I can just find it. She brought it up. Stripes brought it up. Right? That she knows this one copy pasta about Doug Walker at a grocery store. And it's so stupid. But for some reason I was crying laughing. Dia didn't think it was funny. Stripes wasn't really laughing. But because it was the first time I'd ever interpreted, and like worse, when she brought it up, it was like, is this a real anecdote? What a useless thing to even fill your lungs and then say, what you mean you met somebody at a grocery store? Who cares, right? But it's a copy pasta. It's like a meme. Somebody just made this crap up. And worse, it's not just specific to this idiot Doug Walker. People just swap out this name for anybody. Literally anybody. So imagine y'all having a conversation, y'all talking about The Rock or somebody like that or some comedian, and then somebody goes, oh yeah, I saw The Rock at a grocery store in Los Angeles yesterday. And they just do the whole meme. Let me read this stupid thing for you. I can't tell you why it was so funny to me, but it really, really was, okay? So hopefully I can just make it through this. It shouldn't be an issue because I laughed until I was in pain yesterday, okay? I saw Doug Walker in a grocery store in Los Angeles yesterday. I told him how cool it was to meet him in person, but I didn't want to be a douche and bother him and ask him for photos or anything. And he said, oh, like you're doing now? I was taken aback, and all I could say was, huh? But he kept cutting me off and going, huh? 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 And closing his hand shut in front of my face. I walked away and continued with my shopping, and I heard him chuckle as I walked off. When I came to pay for my stuff, up front, I saw him trying to walk out of the door with like 15 Milky Ways in his hands without paying. The girl at the counter was very nice, very professional, and was like, sir, you need to pay for those first. At first, he kept pretending to be tired and not hear her, but eventually turned back around and bought them to the counter. When she took one of the bars and started scanning it multiple times, he stopped her and told her to scan them individually. to prevent any electrical interference. Then turned around and winked at me. I don't even think that's a word. After she scanned each bar and put them in the bag and started to say the price, he kept interrupting her by yawning really loud. What the hell is this? Now, this is the stupidest copy pasta I've ever seen in my life, okay? But yesterday I had a severe need to use it.
Everything is awesome. And you are great, and so are we, since we are all a part of the Sile team. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too, Kelly Up Off. You know, for once I don't want you up off, I want you up on. Upon, stumble upon, Kelly upon. That's a joke that's probably been made in that person's life. If it's their name, they've heard it before. And there's nothing I hate more than making a joke that everybody's probably made before. Yeem. So I appreciate and thank you, Kelly. That's pretty cool. I'm very sorry to have had to, I'm really sorry to have had to share this with you, but it was the dumbest thing ever that Stripes brought up. And it just took me clean out of everything that I was doing, because I was like, what are you talking about? And when I looked it up, I was crying laughing. Remember when we were reading a list? Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everyone, for the likes and for being here. And if you're watching just to unwind later, I appreciate you too. Do you appreciate this thumbnail? We're going to start doing thumbnail ratings, you know? Because if you think you can make a better thumbnail, then drop them fucking suggestions in my Snapchat or on Discord so I can get the best Discord, ratings. I mean, the stream chat ratings for my thumbnails, all right? People who sacrifice their lives. And you got Apu jumping in front of somebody shooting somebody. You know what I'm talking about? Jeez, whatever. So as we continue up this list, here we are at number 7. Wow. My mom died giving birth to me. Ugh. I didn't find out about the circumstances of her death until I was 7, and my aunt said something about it to me. Messed me up for a while. I often wonder what my life would have been like if she were around. I had very little female influence in my life, and I was raised by my dad and 5 brothers. Jesus. Dad just treated me like one of the boys. So I grew up working on cars and motorcycles, and my dad has never dated anyone since. Damn. That's love, you know what I mean? People give men so much shit, but when you lost your girl and you don't pick up another one and you're raising kids,
I wish that would happen.
You wish what? You could have grew up working on cars and shit?
No, you dork.
What?
That someone...
What kills you?
Would love me enough that, well, not really, but the idea of, like, being so loved that that person, you know, I was their last partner, like I was their last love.
I mean, I don't know what's, like, insulting or diminishing about the idea that
I'm not saying that it is, I'm just saying, like, the idea of it is nice, but obviously I wouldn't want that to happen.
So I see.
To move and, you know, find somebody new, or, you know, maybe they just decide that that's what they want to do, but I would hope that they would find somebody else after the fact, at some point.
Kelly says, my maiden name is so great. It's not bad. I like unique names. Linda says 8 out of 10, and Max says 10 out of 10. I appreciate that. At least we're above a 5. It's when my thumbnails get, 5 or worse, then I really need to go back to the drawing board. If it gets a 5 or worse in the future, we're going to start rating these thumbnails. I will not hesitate to just change it. Yeah, it'll stay the same in the video, but I'll just change the thumbnail. Who cares? My dad never dated anyone since, and that sometimes makes me sad too. I look at all the joy that my husband brings into my life, and I want that for him. But I think he is just done with that part of his life. My brothers will sometimes tell stories about her. It's really the only way that I know anything about her. There are some pictures around us too. People tell me I look just like her and have the same attitude. This makes me kind of sad. Oh my god. I just had to take their word for it. I'm older now than she ever was. I look at all the things going on in my life and I feel guilty for taking that away from her. It makes me want to live my life in a way that I think would make her proud. What's crazy, dude, is that there are scenarios where kids are born and they are blamed for existing. There are scenarios where kids are born and the parents die and then the kids just blame themselves. But what's scariest is when the parents die through childbirth and then the remaining parent blames the kid. 'Cause nah, dude. Yo. Some parents, regardless of whatever lack of trauma in the lives of anybody, are going to go a little too ham on their kids. And the bottom line is, a lot of parents inadvertently use their children as punching bags, little outlets. What are they going to go do? They have nowhere else to go. They have no one else to turn to. They end up just taking it. I'm not a parent, so you already know that this isn't like a really dark or scary analogy I'm making. I'm just saying, you know, I know that some parents use their kids to let off some steam, and it's messed up, but it's the truth. And I don't know, I guess my heart just goes out to any people that may be trapped in a scenario that they need help but probably won't get it. And if it gets so bad that they end up passing that on to other people, the cycle continues and the world gets to be a worse place. Isn't this a feel-good list, guys? Number 6, I got a permission to tell this story. My cousin was swimming in a seemingly calm part of the river with a large group of people near his college. At some point, he went underwater and was not coming back up. Under the surface was a whirlpool and had caught him and was not letting go. His best friend dove in to save him and managed to get my cousin out of the whirlpool, but sadly got stuck himself. My cousin wasn't breathing when they pulled him out, and they spent several minutes before they could revive him. He's okay now. Sadly, his friend didn't make it. I never knew that kid, but I think of the sacrifice he made to save my cousin all the time, and will be forever grateful for it. What the fuck? Yikes. How do you live in that world, knowing that somebody you were friends with gave it to keep you alive? How do you face that person's family when the story comes out? How do you do that? Also, this seems familiar. We're going to see as we go up if anything else rings any bells. You Can Ring My Bell. It's a song. Maybe you've heard it. Maybe you've heard of it. Look at these normie ass fucking comments in the Discord. Just because you're in my Discord doesn't mean that I'm gonna act like, you know, you're hilarious or some shit. You gotta actually make people laugh. Artemis writes, does Stripes wear a lot of striped skirts? Yeah. You think he was up all night writing that comment? Hilarious. And Uruboros Null says, I think she wears striped sweaters. At least that's kind of like maybe referential to a SpongeBob meme. You know what I'm talking about? I'll give him that one. But striped shirts? You know? I don't know. I'm kind of ashamed of that one. What's this one say up here? One of my fellow THP officers just got shot today, and pretty much every THP in the state attempted to respond, and every LEO officer in Tennessee is going to the funeral along with a final call. Did somebody ask, is he dead? When? Kelly, you know, with brains like that, I think I want you around for a while. You know what I'm talking about? Tell me she's talking about something else. Shay says,
you sound just like someone I knew in high school. LOL.
Shay, you know, that's enlightening. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my god. Linda says, pretty sure this is a repeat list, Kyle. I'm like 89% sure. That's a couple of percent off from Double Dog, sure, you know. Pistachio says, Kyle, you've definitely read this list before, but it's still good a second time around. No. Do you know what Reddit's like right now? I'm not doing this because I'm lazy. And I'll show you. I'll show you what Reddit is like right now. If you think I'm joking about how unbearable it is, this is the top post right now. Which famous movie quote will always be timeless and relevant? You think I should do a list of quotes from movies?
You should have people
No,
come in and say, hey,
it's not list worthy. So this one says, Redditors who saw The Empire Strikes Back in theaters. What was it like when you heard Vader was Luke's father? Should I do a list of reactions of what it was like to watch Star Wars originally? No. Which quote is the most improved by adding here in the middle of this Olive Garden to the end of it? Let's get in there. Let's get in there and see how hilarious these entries are, starting from the top, which is not normally what I do when I normally read. The top comment says, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar here in the middle of this Olive Garden. Ha 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 ha. You come to me here and you ask me for a favor on this, the day of my daughter's wedding, here in the middle of this Olive Garden. This is like the other list because it's what's your favorite quote from a movie that's memorable. It's just the same list over and over here in the middle of this Olive Garden. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you here in the middle of this Olive Garden. Yep. Just a waka waka to the maximum. Here's another one. What's the most useless thing you own? Should I have done that? A list of things people own on Reddit? Jesus Christ. Look how hard they're upvoted too. People are dying for the answers in here. I own the other 3 wine glasses that I own, implying that they don't have friends and all they do is just drink out of the one wine glass. If you're drinking wine on a frequent basis, odds are, sister, you're not washing that fucking wine glass, so the other glasses are getting the use. You just don't need all of them simultaneously. But when you're not washing out one glass and you go, that one's clean, let me just rinse it out with some water and then use it. Oh, I hate people. Number 2, a bunch of sweaters and hoodies. I live on an island country and it doesn't get cold at all. Riveting. Hold on to your fucking boobs for this entry. Wow, here's another one. A hip flask with the name Keith written under it. My name isn't Keith. I've read all I'm gonna read. That's enough of that, right? Let me scroll down so you guys get the picture. Here's one, but it hasn't been upvoted well. I'll stop at the next one that's been upvoted. Well, let's see. Here's one. What would be the worst place to find a used condom? Some intellectuals on Reddit, huh?
I'm pretty sure I know the top answer.
What's the top answer? What's the top answer? Your mom's room?
No, inside of the girl you're trying to get into.
Uh-huh. Did you come in here?
No.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's not.
The top one is at the bottom of a cup of coffee that you just finished drinking.
Ew.
A cup of anything. Why a cup of coffee? What about a you know, like a frappuccino or something? That's coffee. You couldn't even think of another non-coffee drink.
And I did.
I'm so stupid. Sealed inside the wrapper. Wait. Used condom. Got it. Okay. So let me just scroll down, see one more time. Give you a good idea of what you're dealing with. Here's another one. Would you take $20 million for the rest of... Don't you hate these questions? Where it's like, hey, would you take a bunch of money for something that's not even a big deal for you to do? It's a bunch of money. Of course we do it.
Gosh, Stripes, get that checked, please.
Stripe says she's going to die. There's an oozing yellow thing on the back of my neck and it never closes because moving my neck just opens it again. I kind of have something like that. Remember I thought it was a cyst? It's not constantly oozing, and sometimes it's like barely feelable, but I think it's there often.
You need to go to a dermatologist.
I need to go to a Papadopoulos. you know?
Damn, that's not funny.
It's not about being funny. Not everything is about flat-chested necks.
What?
You heard me. DZZZ says, Ask Reddit, how many have you seen Kyle at the supermarket? How many of you have seen Kyle at the supermarket? Amazing. Number 4 on the list of people who sacrifice their lives reads as follows. My father. I was assaulted when I was 9. He confronted the man that did it, beat his ass. The man came back and shot him in the head. My mother has hated me ever since, so I lost 2 parents that day. It has affected me in the sense that I'm hyper vigilant in protecting my son. I have read the thread to this and would like to make something clear. I don't blame my mother because I understand some things about trauma. I do appreciate the kind words that some have offered. I love this list because I like lists that make people, think about their corny ass lives and the dumbass, shit they're upset about. Oh, this boy I'm trying to talk to ain't texting me back. A billion dudes are trying to text you, but you only interested in this one dude. Some guy's mad because, they want to get this thing, but it's not the best version of the thing, so they got to get a worse version of it. And then they got to wait till their next paycheck to maybe they upgrade it, and then they end up having to sell the old one. That's the biggest thing going on in your life. Come on now. Come on now. My biological mother was a surrogate to my parents. She was my mother's best friend growing up and knew that she wanted a baby more than anything in the world. Where the fuck are my icons? They should be there at all times. All right, icons, don't make me put my foot. Don't make me break my foot. Where's the ticker? Is it labeled correctly? You're in the middle of a list. Just finish the list, and then you can worry about this crap later. But what's my ticker right there? Okay, my biological mother was a surrogate to my parents. She was my mother's best friend growing up and knew that she wanted a baby more than anything in the world, so she offered for my mother, who could not have children. Everything was perfectly normal. She moved in with my parents during the whole pregnancy. There's even a few short videos of them at the hospital talking about me or to me, and a video of just seconds after I was born of the 2 of them holding me, singing happy birthday, and they hadn't chosen a name yet. So it's just to you. There was no more videos after that. But my mother went to get a nurse because my biological mother said she was just feeling dizzy and was having trouble with breathing. According to my father, she was holding me ready to pass me to my father and said something along the lines of, "Bye, I'll miss you." He said it still kind of bugs him to this day to think about it. In the moment that he had thought she was kidding, or that she meant "I miss you already," he picked me up and turned a second to grab a rag for his shoulder, and when he turned back again, she was white as a ghost and unconscious. It was just a blur of people and rooms and faces after that. She died from some sort of internal bleeding. I think about this often, feeling awful that I took my mother's best friend away. But my mother says that it's the best gift that she had ever gotten. Okay, Mom, damn. That's not okay. Ugh. I'm sorry about that. Those noises were unacceptable, and I will hit you with the gross Kyle splash. Wow. Kyle splash. Huevo splash. For the balls. For the balls.
Did you just say balls in Spanish?
Huevos.
Don't say that. That's so gross.
Ay, 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 mi huevos.
Ew. stop
Chupa. I'm nothing if nobody wants to suck the balls. The balls, my jingle balls. it's pretty good that this gross thing is up. That's good. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and put a nail in this list. That is bad. That's not what you should have said on a list that is dealing with a topic such as this. Come on, man. Number 1. When I was about 10 or so, we lived on a farm. We had an Australian blue heeler named Smokey. Sounds like a dog. Let's go ahead and throw that at the internet, see what it turns up. Okay. He's a doggy, alright. So, he was an amazing dog, full of love for anyone that he met. Smokey lived in a huge pen behind the farm. It's going to be a story about how a dog gave his life to save a man, and that's going to be the top entry, is a dog sacrificing its life, isn't it? Oh, boy. Smokey lived in a huge pen behind the barn, and it was my job to feed him and get his water when I got back from school. So one day I go out to the pen and start to open the gate, and Smokey was acting very strange. He was pacing back and forth. The ridge of fur on his neck was raised, and when I made a move to stop over into the pen, he growled at me. This was new. Smokey had never growled at me when we were roughhousing, so I knew something was up. I kind of stepped back as he bared his teeth at me. I was scared, and the first thing that crossed my mind was that he had been bitten by something rabid. So I closed the gate, started walking around the pen, and as I moved away from the gate, he trotted along the fence, tongue lolling, happy grin on his face, just like always. At this point, I was super confused, but I decided just to push the damn dog out of the way and feed him whether he liked it or not. So I go back to open the gate, Smokey follows, and once again, as I made a step to move in, he starts growling. I was only around 10 at the time, but he wasn't a huge dog, so I kind of pushed with my foot to get him out of the way, and Smokey bit me. He lunged up, bit me right below the knee, and I was wearing jeans, so it didn't break the skin, but I was scared shitless of my old friend. I fell backwards out of the pen and then ran for the house. I told my grandma something was wrong with Smokey and that he had tried to bite me. She too was afraid of rabies, but since there wasn't a puncture wound on me, she decided to wait until my dad got home and figure out what to do. He got off work about 2 hours later after this happened and immediately went out to the pen. He found Smokey dead, lying pushed up against the gate like he had been blocking it, in the lean-to where I would have gone to get Smokey's food. He found not one, but 2 huge rattlesnakes. When he looked over the dog's body, Smokey had swollen around the cheek he had been bitten. I know it doesn't carry the same weight as humans who had consciously decided to die for somebody, but I know my good boy was keeping me out of that pen for that reason. Ooh. Yeah, I've read this before. Okay. I remember it now.
I don't remember.
It may have been before your time. It may have been well before your time. Max says the worst thing about Trooper who died is that he had less than a year. It was less than a year after getting the job and was married and a father for 6. No, it's just he was married for 2 years and a father. Sorry to hear that. That really sucks. Man, I saw this video. This lady cop shooting a mom in a dispute. She was trying to arrest some guy, but instead of waiting for backup, instead of tasing a dude, instead of trying to de-escalate, she just started getting crazy and emotional. Very unbecoming of a police officer. I wanted to do a play-by-play on it, and I still might, but I don't know. It's hard to watch that video and not get sexist because there is a protocol that you need to follow as an officer, and she did not. She did not follow protocol. A lot of the comments I was seeing was from people who claimed to be, SWAT team members and shit like this, and they were saying that, hey man, even they would wait for backup before making a confrontation of sorts. And it's just insane. She shot the mom, bro. If you see the video, though, it's like, bitch, you have failed. You have failed to get control of this situation. And you know that that's what some of them are all about, is trying to establish control and prove all of this shit to themselves. Like, Jesus Christ, get the backup. Just wait until the backup comes.
I mean, male cops have flinched and killed somebody before there was any need to react.
I guess, I mean, what world are we in, though? Where, unfortunately, that's supposed to be what we're... At least she didn't kill him. She shot his mom. Some would argue that's worse. That's an innocent party. That's an innocent party you rolled up in there and shot somebody that was innocent accidentally.
The people that have been shot were also, you know, they weren't doing anything wrong. They were listening and they were shot because they listened. You know, what do you do then? The mom was just trying to protect the son, and you know, she made a conscious move to be a barrier between the cop and her kid. But unfortunately, those other people died purely because they listened, and because the cop just felt so uncomfortable and afraid for their life that they felt that they had to flinch and shoot. So.
Did somebody a Wendy's drive-through 42-second speed run?
Yes.
There's no way in hell you could do this unless you're not ordering food. That doesn't count. If you go to Wendy's and you're not ordering food, that doesn't count, dude.
We need to watch it.
Listen, no. Because what if they consider ketchup food? So if you go, can I have some ketchup, and I'm willing to pay for it, I have the money right here, and they say pull to the window because nobody else is in the driveway, and this is all that the speed run would be about, is you waiting to make sure that the drive-through is clear, is you drive up, you get the ketchup, you give them the money, if they even charge you. That could be probably how you shave time off the speed run, is by doing the payment skip. You know what I'm talking about?
You just
Maybe you even have a friend that's working there. Oh my God, that's cheating.
She cooks.
But it may not be regarded as a cheat so much as an exploit. By manipulating the friend working at Wendy's exploit, you got through without paying. Hello, I'd like to order some ketchup. And then the dude, because he knows you, he's already got it bagged, he's ready to go, he just gives it to you and you're out of there. It's really all about how fast you can... I'm so sorry. People who don't know what speedrunning is are just like, what are you talking about? Listen, I love you. Thank you for being here. Like the video. Snapchat me, you know, whatever suggestions that you have or you found. I want to do more newsy type stuff, but I don't Twitter properly. So I don't know what's relevant when it's relevant. And that's 100% of the game, baby. If you deal with something late, then you might as well not be covering it at all, you know. Get into the Discord if you'd like to receive notifications when these streams are going to go live. And do me a big favor and follow me on Twitch so that when I do start streaming these games, things will make sense there. Max says there's only 6 likes. Well, I guess that's just how things go, you know.
Linda wants some lullabies because she needs sleep.
I don't know any Linda lullabies.
Linda lullaby. It doesn't have to pertain to Linda. Do you guys have lullabies over in Jamaica?
I'm sure we do. But they're probably about you dying if you don't go to bed.
What the actually, no, yeah, true. Any lullaby from any third world country will be like, and if you don't go to sleep, you're gonna get eaten, or kidnapped, or killed. That's just the way it goes.
I'm very sorry. Earlier, get this, right before I was about to stream, like the last one I decided to do, I got into the trade thing with him.
Nice.
And he traded me a Snorlax.
A shiny Snorlax.
ripping my bong. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you. Catch you soon. Have a great night. Do what you need to do. And I wish you wonderful night's sleep, including you, Linda. I hope everything goes well for you guys tomorrow. And if everything goes well for me, then I'll see you soon. Bye.